Good morning. It is a minute before of a new jobless report that's expected to show job losses are slowing down. Are we finally coming out of this recession? We'll take a look. And you can start up that clunker in the garage and head to your nearest car dealership. The popular Cash for Clunkers program is back on track. We'll have more on the story. And we're learning more about what happened to those two American journalists held captive in North Korea for 6 months. Lisa Ling, the sister of Laura Ling, gives out the details in a new interview. We'll play some of it for you in just a moment. But we're also following weather and traffic. This morning we've got a live picture here of the Golden Gate Bridge. The traffic's flowing fine. The temperature's cool. Let's get the Friday forecast now with Evelyn Taft in the Weather Center. Good morning, Ev.
Good morning, James. And we're looking at your 7-day around the bay because I do want to point out your weekend forecast for you. It's going to be a much warmer one. So today still below normal, but temperatures just shooting up tomorrow into the rest of your weekend, even your work week, back to where we should be for this time of year. In fact, 90s through your inland spots, 70s around the bay, with 60s at the coast. Drew.
Thank you, Evelyn. Taking a look outside, we're looking at a good good trip on the roads, but seeing a minor delay on BART. We've got a slowdown with trains taking an extra 10 to 15 minutes to make it between Walnut Creek towards Daly City and SFO. We'll have a full report and give you all the complete skinny on that one when we have a full traffic check coming up in just a few minutes. James?
All right, Drew, thank you very much. Now on to our developing story at this hour. Car shoppers caught up in the frenzy of the Cash for Clunkers program will have more time now and 2 billion more reasons to trade in their old gas guzzlers. The Senate has now joined the House in voting to refill the program. President Barack Obama will sign the bill extending the program into Labor Day. The extra money is aimed at helping automakers and spurring the economy while removing the least fuel-efficient vehicles from the road. So good news, Cash for Clunkers back in business. Also for you new this morning, on the unemployment side, the unemployment report due out today, the Labor Department snapshot, will likely put job losses from last month at around 320,000, with unemployment rising to about 9.6%. Now, if that estimate is true, it would be the slowest pace for job losses in 2 years. That's the good news. But it also suggests employers still aren't ready to ramp up hiring. More on that as it comes in. In the meantime, at 5:02, let's get a full look at weather now. We got the sneak peek with Evelyn a moment ago. Let's get into the details now for Friday and the weekend ahead. Good morning, Ev.
Good morning, James. And we're taking a look at the last satellite image to come in. We're just going to reset this for you right here. And staying pretty warm as we head into the work week. 5:04 is the time right now. Let's get a check on traffic with Drew.
Thanks, Evelyn. Keeping our eye on a delay on BART. We have one line that's dealing with delays now being reported between 20 and 30 minutes between Walnut Creek towards Daly City and SFO. Again, 30 minutes. All other trains, although, are currently on time. James?
All right, Drew, thank you very much. And as we mentioned earlier, we're getting a better idea of what happened to those two American journalists held captive in North Korea since March. Lisa Ling, we've seen her face. She is, of course, the older sister of Laura Ling, one of those two journalists that was held captive. Laura and her colleague, Yuna Lee, arrived in Burbank on Wednesday morning after former President Bill Clinton secured their release. Since then, both families have been out of the public eye until now. Here's what Lisa had to say.
Well, we are all just elated beyond words. My sister is so happy to be home. She's still quite weak and exhausted and incredibly emotional. She's been in relative isolation for months and months, and she doesn't even like to be alone. Yesterday she was so exhausted and she wanted to take a quick nap, and she kept asking me, "Are you going to be here when I come back? Are you going to be here when I come back?" And today we took her to the doctor's office, and I wasn't planning on going to the doctor with her. My mom was going to take her, and she said, "Will you please come with me?" And she hasn't wanted to be alone. And I hear from Yuna's husband Michael that Hannah, their 4-year-old daughter, has not wanted her mother to leave her sight. I mean, she just keeps following her around from room to room because she doesn't want her mom to leave anywhere, leave her.
Now, of course, the other developing story somewhat related to this one is of those 3 Americans held captive in Iran right now. A friend of one of those 3 Americans being detained by Iranian authorities says the group made, quote, a simple and very regrettable mistake by crossing into Iran. Sean McPhelson says freelance journalist Shane Bauer and Bauer's girlfriend Sarah Shord, I should say, and Josh Fettel left on the evening of July 30th to camp near a place called Aman Awa, which is famous for its beautiful waterfalls, and they were going there to take pictures. In his first statement since his friends were detained last week, McFessel says his friends were preparing to turn around just before being captured. McFessel says he spoke with Bauer by phone on July 31st, and that Bauer said the group was enjoying themselves, but 2 hours later Bauer called back with news of their detention, urging McFessel to call the U.S. Embassy. We'll let you know if anything happens with them. In the meantime, new details this morning on that cyber attack on that popular social networking sites, Twitter and Facebook as well. We're in a second day of it now. Twitter says it's back up and running, and for the most part it is, but we're still seeing some intermittent outages because of that denial of service attack. The website says it's still fighting it. It's still trying to get it completely out of its system, but we'll let you know. As we told you yesterday, Twitter and Facebook and LiveJournal spent all day battling that DOS attack, and started around 6 a.m. Twitter and LiveJournal went down hard. Facebook stayed mostly online, but was clearly under strain. A lot of the communications back and forth with the website was sluggish and slow. CNET, though, reports that a single individual's accounts on the services may have been the primary target, so they might have been attacking just one single person, and the whole site went down because of it. Facebook and LiveJournal appear to be performing normally today. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you know if denial of service attacks ramp up at all. All right, the time is now 5:09. We've got to take another break here, but we'll be back with more in just a moment. Let's go outside, give you another live look and see how the commute is shaping up along, well, can't really see much of the commute in this shot. This is our roof camera shot, but we've got at least a clear indication of the visibility here in the city. We can see those building lights without any problems, so fog not a factor, but the cool temperatures will be. Still unseasonably cool, and we'll have another look at the forecast coming up momentarily.